I don't have any tooth. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're party with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it, ever? Or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I can easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Down the middle, James, the lateral to the corner of the end zone. Can you believe that?
Welcome in, everybody, to Group of 5 Guys Inside Drill. We got a big-time guest for you tonight. Before we introduce him, y'all make sure you hit like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You guys make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of 5 Guys. Tonight on Inside Drill, we've got maybe the best turnaround in the country, especially at the Group of 5 level. We've got 6-2 overall, 4-1 in the Sun Belt, and currently sitting first place in the Sun Belt West. Troy head coach Jon Sumrall. Thanks for joining us again, Coach. What's happening?
Man, I feel honored to be a two-time guest with y'all. I don't know how many of those y'all have had, but I do feel very privileged. But no, we're good, man. We're on the bye week and enjoying a little bit of downtime, still getting our work in, but trying to heal up. We've played 8 straight games, so as you can imagine, we're a little bit beat up and bruised in some spots, and it comes at a good time for our guys to recover and get some rest.
Bye week is so rewarding, especially whenever you're having a successful season so far. You know, just let the guys enjoy their Saturday because they all love college football. And you finally get that Saturday where you can actually go and hang out, maybe cook on the grill with your boys and watch college football. You know, gain more of that camaraderie.
Well, there's no doubt. I always like to tell our coaches we're going to take the Saturday off and watch everybody else work. You know, I mean, we don't get to do that a lot in this game, and it's fun to kind of be a fan and watch all your buddies coach and watch the other teams play. So it's fun. I can see why you guys enjoy being fans and following the game so much because we almost have a weird – it's sort of like a bye and a half because we played last Thursday. So we got last Saturday to watch college football and this Saturday, which is for me a little bit foreign, and at times I'm almost uncomfortable, but it's fun.
So what's the coach? What's the schedule for you as coaches? I'm sure hitting the recruiting trail pretty hard this week.
Yeah, we practiced tonight for a little bit, and then we'll practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll go early in the morning and not very long, and then we'll recruit Thursday, Friday. Some guys will recruit Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the players will be off after Thursday's practice, and we'll take the weekend off as much as possible. The work really never completely stops. But a little bit more downtime, and tonight's a Monday night. We would typically be in the office pretty late, and we were practice ends, and everybody kind of goes home in the bye week at a decent hour. Doesn't stay up at the office quite as late, and get a chance to recharge our batteries as well. But the recruiting piece, like I said, it never slows down. We got to capitalize on the momentum we got with some of the success we're having, and get some good players to maybe just reload our team for moving forward.
It helps. I mean, the streak y'all are on right now and the turnaround. I mean, you're coming off 5 straight wins against some of the top teams in the Sun Belt, and then even you had the win against Western, probably one of the top teams in Conference USA. You got a long way to go in the driver's seat in the West. Got receiving a couple votes in the AP poll. How do you keep the guys focused with starting to get some recognition, starting to get some pub? And most importantly, Troy's number 4 in the weekly Group of 5 Guys poll. So congratulations.
There we go. I appreciate y'all's ranking. Yeah, man. Make sure I know you guys are big ESPN fans, so I'm sure that's going to show up on ESPN in the next day or two. But no, I kid around with our guys a lot, and I sort of the Nick Saban line of it being rat poison. I've been kidding around with our guys about everything you hear is rat poison. It's positive, and then the other piece, no different than we've had some adversity this year too. Our game in Boone was a heartbreaker, and then we've had some positive things happen since then. And so the line I use a lot with our team is so what, now what? Like something bad happens, good. We get a chance to retool and sort of realign what we're doing and get better. And something good happens, that's fine too. Good. Like move on. In this game, you have every 7 days to either be humbled and exposed or promoted and move forward. And, it's a challenging game. Winning games is not easy, but I do think our guys have found a really good formula for being right where our feet are, not really looking in the past at what we can't control, things that have maybe already happened, or getting too far out in front of ourselves and worried about what's way out in front. But just I talk a lot to them about like, hey, let's have the best Monday in all of college football today. Like, let's be the best team this Monday and worry about what's right in front of each and every day, and good things usually happen.
Coach, I hate to reopen old wounds. I've got to ask because I've done a hell of a job of bouncing back, but I can only imagine what it was like receiving that loss in Boone, North Carolina. Can you just kind of tell what was that locker room like, and what was that bus ride back to the airport?
Yeah.
What was the feeling on that plane? I imagine you flew.
There was a lot of we flew. There was a lot of hurt in that locker room. I mean, a lot of emotion that was raw, and because these guys have invested so much into what we've asked them to do. There's been some things that have maybe been hard for them to adjust and adapt to with our new staff. And I hurt for our kids, man. Like my heart broke, not for me. I'm not very important. My heart hurt for the young men on our team who had given so much of themselves to improve this program and this team. And you want so badly for your team to see tangible results of us moving forward and getting better. I'm never okay with losing a game, and I'm not into moral victories. Like I don't like, we played pretty good. Like no, I got a 9-year-old son, and he don't like to lose. Like losing ain't allowed at my house, all right? And so I told our guys, so I did remind them that the 11th game of the 2021 season, App came to Troy, and the final score was 45-7. All right, and the third game of the 2022 season, we went to Boone, and 59 minutes and 58 seconds, we played pretty good football. We just didn't finish the game the right way with 2 seconds left on the clock. And so while I am not going to celebrate a loss, I do think you can see where there was growth out of that game.
No doubt.
And for our guys to see, hey, we've come a long way. I think the challenging thing is how do you get yourself up off the mat and go back into the arena and put it all on the line again and again and again, and so our guys have done that. I mean, we haven't to this point gone into a game and me just thought, well, our guys didn't play very hard today. I mean, they've played with a chip on their shoulder, with some edge and some grit and some toughness every week. And if we can do that and continue to get cleaner with how we're playing, I think we'll continue to play good football and get better each week.
And Coach, you referenced last year and, the transition a lot of the players made. I mean, you guys were 5-7 last year. What would you credit? I mean, you're at 6 wins already this year, kind of in the driver's seat in the Sun Belt. What do you credit the turnaround at Troy?
Well, we didn't inherit a bad situation in regards to the roster. Like several of these kids that are our seniors, I helped recruit and coach here when I was an assistant. Carlton Marshall, I recruited here and coached him his true freshman year. KJ Robertson, our other starting inside linebacker, was the last young man that I recruited here before I left. 3 of our starting 5-0 linemen we recruited when I was here last. So there's a lot of guys that had been here 2017, 18, when we won 10 games, 11 games in a season. And so really that veteran leadership that had been around some success and maybe knew what that looked like and knew what it required, hadn't really experienced the success they had wanted to the last few years. But I think we've got a good locker room. We've got good leaders. We've got And I made a big emphasis, man, when I took the job. Like, sometimes new head coaches come in there and people are like, wait till they get their players or they get their recruiting class. So I got news for you. I wear a Troy logo, and so do they. They're all our players. Like, I'm each and every kid on our team's coach, regardless of whether I recruit them or somebody else recruit them. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So I think we really inherited, at least from the character of our team, a good locker room. Maybe were there some positions where I was like, I wish we had more depth here or a better frontline player maybe here. When I first got here, sure. Like, you're constantly evaluating how can you make your roster more complete and deeper and better. But I think we've had our guys have, some of them have seen success at this level. And I think on top of it, I think they were very hungry for success, and they bought into some of the structure, discipline, accountability, and toughness that we were bringing from how we were going to do things day in, day out. And it's a lot easier when, they buy in quickly, which they did. And then when you can show them tangible results from that process, I think it makes the buy-in factor even greater.
I mean, here's a spoonful of rat poison. I think it helps. I think you have the best defense in the group of 5. And you're going to probably try to ignore it, The defense, they are big, they fly around, they hit, they're fun to watch. I'm an offensive guy. Offensive line, I like passing, I like running up the score. And I watch y'all just to watch your defense because they are just astonishing.
Yeah.
Real
fun
to watch.
Now, I'm a defensive guy. I'd love for us to score more. Trust me. Our offensive staff will tell you that. Like, I'm a defensive guy. I'm a head coach now, and I sit in offensive meetings, defensive meetings. I sit in every special teams meeting. I'm tied into the entire game plan. I do think we're more veteran and maybe a little bit more established on defense. And our guys over there, they've played with some edge and some blue collar mentality, and we've got good players too. I mean, Carlton Marshall, KJ Robertson, Craig Slocum, Javon Solomon, Richard Jubinor, Will Cholo, Buda Jones, Reddy Stewart. I mean, there's Del Pettis. The list goes on. We have got dang good football players on defense, and they're doing things the right way too. Which, when you got good players, they do things the right way. It usually works out.
I feel like I've always had an offensive coach as my head coach, and I would be really interested to see just behind-the-scenes scrimmage at Troy, because when I would play, it was only a good day at practice if the offense put up like 60 points.
No question.
If the defense shut out the offense, it was just a horrible day. No one got better. It's like we didn't.
Yeah. Well, it's been an adjustment for me because actually when the offense scores now in a scrimmage, I get to cheer and actually be happy. Where in the past I've been pretty ticked off. So no, I think our defense is, maybe more proven than going into the year than what the offense was. I think us trying to identify what are our strengths and weaknesses offensively, how do we lean into our strengths and minimize our weaknesses. And quite honestly, too, our defense has played good the last several weeks because we've been running the football and offense better. I mean, when you can win the physical battle on offense, we ran for 128 yards last week and the other team ran for, I think, 31. All right? We averaged over 3 yards a carry last week, and the other team, I think, averaged 1 or 1.5. Well, that helps your defense. And so playing complementary football now, like I said, I'd like to see us score more points. But it is when defense travels, defense is consistent. Offenses have good and bad days a lot of times. Great defenses usually show up and play the same over and over and over again. You think about the great defenses in the history of football, the Bears in the 80s, the Ravens in the mid-2000s, like great defenses. I don't care if it's hot, cold, away, home, they show up and play the game.
I was going to say, the NTSU Blue Raiders of 2009. That's like great defense.
well, dude, watching that Troy South Alabama game last week, it reminded me. I felt like I was watching, remember that 9-6 LSU Alabama game for like 2011 or whenever that was. And it wasn't like you were watching bad offensive football. You were just watching nobody's missing tackles, nobody's missing assignments, and you're just like, man, this is great. But you brought up Carlton Marshall when you recruited him 4 or 5 years ago. Any thought in your mind that this guy was going to more than likely set the all-time tackles record in the NCAA?
No, I'd be lying if I said he was going to do that. Like I've never recruited anybody and thought, well, they're going to break that all-time record in anything. But I did know when we got him to come here. You know, we got him to come here as a walk-on. He only had Division II scholarship offers, and a lot of it was just because of his height or lack thereof, maybe. And but I had watched him play as a high school player several times, and he was the most instinctive high school linebacker I had ever watched. I mean, and I shared with everybody that asked about him. I'm like, last time I checked, when you make a tackle, they don't make you stand up and measure you to see if the tackle counts. Like, the object of the game on defense is tackle the guy with the ball, and he does that really well. And I'm not surprised with the success he's had. I'm not surprised with him becoming a scholarship player here, any of that. Am I surprised that he's, you know, on that brink of setting that record? Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty impressive feat. But he's a very humble kid, extremely hardworking, a tremendous teammate, and just so happens to also be a fantastic player.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah. He's pretty good.
Not bad. So
when I got the job here, and I'm a linebacker coach, everybody's like, "Hey, I can't wait to see what you do with Carlton now that you're back." And I'm like, I'm going to try not to screw him up. I'm going to try to let him keep doing what he's been doing the last few years.
Coach has never had to worry about that with me.
Coach, you talked about the offense and, you know, wanting to score some more, and we've seen, you know, both quarterbacks play quite a bit. Is that something you're trying to look at in the bye week, or are you just going to keep rolling with whoever's got the hot hand, or what's the game plan on that?
Yeah, we talked to both those guys, and the nice thing for us is that both of those guys, Gunnar and Jared, have been phenomenal teammates. They've competed with each other for the job without competing against each other, if you will. They've supported each other. Like Thursday night, Jared started the game. Gunnar came into the game. Friday morning after everything and they got done with classes, Jared hopped in the truck with Gunnar, and they went back to Georgia where Gunnar's from and hung out for the weekend. Like, they have supported each other. They've been there for each other. They've encouraged each other. They've been quality teammates to each other. And what better example for your entire team than having two guys that are at quarterback where only one guy gets the ball and one guy gets to play, than having two guys that support each other the right way and have a great team-first mindset. Now, I want to see us play at a high level at quarterback. We're constantly – this is a good week for us to sort of assess and lean into what are we doing well, what are we doing not so well, and then how do we recalibrate and maybe strengthen what we need to strengthen. And so we were hard at work today all day, identifying some things that I think we can do to improve maybe how we're playing the game offensively, and maybe certain guys need to get more touches or certain guys need more opportunities, and how do you, with the injury piece, maybe offset where your roster is at. But both those guys, I feel fortunate because we've got two guys that have won games for us, and two guys that are very selfless, that are team first, that both of them have done some really good things this year. Both of them at times I've wanted them to play better. But the one thing I can say that I'm very proud of is that both of them have been tremendous in how they've gone about their preparation and being a great team player.
Two things on that. When we were visiting Troy, we met Gunnar Watson's dad, and he told us, he said, Gunnar's probably going to play, but he was just all talks about Jarrett, just how great a human being he is, how well he's going to play today, and then just how they're best friends, which it's awesome to hear, but I don't know how often that happens where you have two high-level competing quarterbacks that just get along that well, because I feel like there might be a little sense of, you know, jealousy or just, you know, it's just competitive nature, right? Second off, if you're debating on who to start, we have a really good QB drill that you should set up every Wednesday and Thursday. Just put a garbage can in the in the end zone for like a flag pattern, and just whoever knocks it in the hole, what more than the other guy, start him on Saturday. That's
no doubt. Well, every Monday. So you guys are Middle Tennessee guys. Joe Craddock, our OC, is
Yeah.
an MTSU.
He knows the
alum.
drill then. He'll know the drill.
Yeah, well, yeah, every Monday they do it. They don't have a garbage can, but they got a net in the corner. It's got a target on it. And I'm like, well, everybody else is like busting their tail, like practicing tough and physical. And the quarterback's over here thrown into a net. I'm like, that looks like something that like people do in the backyard when they're drinking beer. You know, like, it's not really challenging. And so I'm not sure if that's not really how we're choosing it. We might need to go we might need to go that route moving forward. So I'll consider that.
Just saying.
Well, it's a big
Yeah.
mental thing more than it is physical and repetition. And Jesse, it's not a flag pattern; it's a fade route, and down at the goal. I know your head's normally down in those situations, so you wouldn't know the difference between a flag and a fade. But
We always joked about how spring ball, like the O-line and D-line, we're just bitching the whole time about how it is. And then the quarterbacks are just, putting sunflower seeds in, just tossing the ball over into a net, just having a great old time.
it's hard work, let me tell you.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is it that somebody took that drill where you were using a trash can and was like, I'm going to make a product and sell it to every football program in the country?
Without question. And they're sitting on a beach right now and not thinking about anything because they've sold 1 million of them.
They're sitting on the beach with one of those nets, drinking beer, throwing footballs into the damn thing.
Or they're throwing beer cans into it when they're done drinking them, probably.
Yeah, 100%. Coach, one of the things that we definitely noticed when we got to spend time with Chuck and Mike, and then your wife was kind enough to come visit us in the box, say hello. It seems like such a family atmosphere between your fans, your boosters, the coaches, the families. So how do you build that, or has it always been like that at Troy, or was that something you wanted to make sure you did when you got back?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to how it always has been or whatever, but like my experience here as an assistant between 2015 and 17, when we left, it was really a tough move, and we loved this place, this town, this community, and the people here. It's a special place, and there's a ton of great people here. And so for us, I think that we've always, everywhere we've been, I think it's important to connect and engage and build real, lasting, meaningful relationships that are genuine, authentic within the community. And it's our job, to coach football, but it's also our job, I think, to help the community at large, the city, the town, and be very involved and invested in the positive things there are here. And we're so fortunate, man. I love this place. Troy, Alabama is a fantastic town with great people. And so for us, it comes natural because we love it here. But I think it is a very unique, special place to be a small college town like it is. You don't come here because you like big city, bright lights. You come here because you got a little bit of a down-home personality and you love football. Like it's a football place. And it's a part of the fabric of this community. And the people here have always been very welcoming to us. And we loved our stint here when I was an assistant coach. We always thought, like, man, Troy was a great place. We could see ourselves going back at some point. So I didn't have to convince my wife a whole lot when this job came open. She was pretty easy to convince that this might be something we should do.
It's important.
Love it. Yeah.
You ain't
Coach,
lying.
I got one more question for you, and then we'll let you get out of here. So I'm about to, any day now, could happen while this show airs, about to pop out child number 2. I know you got a bunch of kids, so give me some advice on baby number 2, because one's been great, one's been fun.
Yeah,
got a little boy. I'm a little nervous about 2.
Yeah, you're going from zone defense 2-on-1 to now you're having to play man. And now me and my wife, we got 4. So we're playing like 2 underneath 3 deep zone coverage where we got some holes in our defense. And we just gotta.
I know that feeling.
We got 4 of them. So I'll give you one piece of advice first is whenever you get home and your wife's like just telling you how hard it's been with the kids or whatever's going on, just agree and just help. Like, don't say, but I've been doing hard stuff all day too, or no, just yes, I got you, sweetheart.
So don't
How
say
can I
that.
help out?
Okay.
No, yeah. what can I do to help? Like, you're right. You've got a really hard deal. But the other thing I'll give you advice on is when you know you've had the right number of kids that y'all are ready to have, go see a doctor, right? Because that's one piece that's important. But no, man, kids are a blessing. We've got 4. I love being a dad, man. It's a blast. And I get to come home, and I'm like my wife's 5th kid because I usually cause as much trouble as they do at home because I have to be so dialed in and locked in. But what's your first child, boy or girl?
Boy. Just turned 2.
Do you know the gender here? Y'all finding out at delivery.
Finding out at delivery.
I don't know how you can do that.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, well, your wife, because most wives want to know like what color the bedroom and the sheets and all that got to be. But I'll say this: I got 3 girls and a boy. My boy, he's a smoke break, man. Like I could take him, just me and him. It's easy. Like it's easy. The girls, with him. Woo. Yeah.
Is the boy the youngest?
Boy's my oldest. He's 9.
Oh, okay.
So I got 9-year-old twins, boy, girl.
Dad, you're running too much zone.
No, he tells me what we did wrong and right.
Yeah, you're running too much zone.
He's like a football junkie. But I got boy, girl, 9-year-old twins, a 6-year-old girl, and then one that just turned 4 on Saturday, a girl. So, but yeah, when it comes to the more, I'll tell you this too. Like, your first kid, like they drop something on the floor and everybody's like, oh, don't let them eat it or whatever. By the time you get to 2 or 3 or like we've got 4, you're like, they drop on the floor like, hey, you better pick that up and eat it. Like I don't want to hear any excuses. You're eating that. Like, so your whole mindset changes. Like with first our twins, when they were born, they would fall and we'd be like, oh, I hope they're okay. And now, like, when one of them falls, we clap just so they don't cry. They think we're cheering for them, Like, it's like, oh, you're great, yeah. And cheer for them. They try to get them to bounce up and be tough. So you learn a lot about kids are resilient. Get your sleep now. I mean, you better start sleeping, like, immediately.
I haven't slept in years, Coach. I'll be all right.
Yeah, that's the way we are at our house. It's like, the more kids you got, like the less like if you got 1, then it's just when that 1 wakes up, right? We got 4. It's like damn near every night somebody's waking up and needs something at some point, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Like we got more. They always need something. They can't cook all their food for themselves. They can't take care of themselves. So you got a lot of responsibility there with number 2 coming.
Yeah, I got 3 boys, and it's the same way. If it's not the baby waking up, it's one of them's getting up in the middle of the night for some reason, coming into our bed. So, but I cut it off. I went and saw that doctor after 3.
Cut it off.
Huh? Yeah.
Hey, cut the lines. Put it that
way. He cut the water off.
That's right.
I do have one question because we know you're very much family oriented. When we were at the game, we noticed on the Trojan walk, you had your kids with you. Is that every Trojan walk, or was that just that one weekend?
Yeah, they go through the walk with us anytime that's pretty there. Cool. Like if they don't have sporting events and et cetera, they go through the walk. Y'all came to what game? The Southern Miss game?
Southern Miss game. I literally was running behind you. I couldn't get to you. we
were on the wrong side.
That was special too, because we got to honor Jon Sumrall.
That was awesome.
And his kids, Joe, Ben, Matt, and Evelyn, they went through the Trojan walk with us too, which was really fun. But it's a special thing that our kids do, and our wives and our kids make so many sacrifices because we work crazy hours. And so it's a great experience for our kids to get to do with their dads.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, that's all we got for Coach Sumrall. Y'all, this has been Inside Drill with the Group of 5 guys. Troy, coming on a bye week. You guys are hot, man. We're rooting for y'all the rest of the way.
Got a big one though here in a couple of weeks, Sprouse, heading to Louisiana.
Yeah, we do. They're good. They're a good club. They're getting better each and every week.
Yeah, they had a big win against as Marshall. They played last, right?
They played Marshall.
They played Wednesday.
And they just beat Arkansas State.
Oh, then they beat Arkansas State Saturday. That's right.
Yeah, and you got to go down there too. It's always tough to play down there.
It is. It's not an easy place to play. They're good. They're a good football team. We got to play really well.
Let the boys rest on Saturday. Let them have some burgers, and I guarantee they'll be tip-top shape for you on Monday for practice.
Be ready to roll.
You too, Coach. You get some rest.
Don't worry. I'll get plenty of rest. I'm going to have a good Saturday too.
There you go.
I'm going to have a good time watching everybody else work.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's all we got. Coach Jon Sumrall, Troy Trojans. Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for what you do.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.